greetings from London. This is Mariam Sharif, and back with Star Moguls Podcast. Today's guest is a fellow podcaster and a very good friend of mine. And when I had some COVID symptoms during the summer, which were really painful, Rene really helped me. And so as we are going through our second lockdown here in London, I thought that I need to bring his expertise on, and so we can help everybody move better. So I'd like to welcome my good friend, Rene Weimann, and he is a athletic performance coach. Welcome, Rene.
Welcome. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the intro. Good to be here.
How are
Good
you?
to talk to you.
Yeah, nice to see you. We obviously we kind of catch up every couple of weeks on the podcast group, and you really helped me during the summer when I was so much excruciating pain. And what I loved was that it wasn't kind of heavy exercises, or it wasn't kind of drastic things that I couldn't do. It was just small little movements, which was so helpful. And I thought, as we, nights are getting early nights, cozy lockdown here, and everybody's kind of feeling that mood. And I thought it was the best time to bring you on and kind of encourage us on how we can actually help our health, and not just for this year, but how to move better, because you're really an expert in that. So how did you get into all of this? How did you begin your journey in health?
Yeah, my story is it's a very diverse story. I think I have to start at a quite young age, when I was a fairly good basketball player. I reached up until second division here in Germany. So I almost made it to professional basketball. And when I was, you must imagine, I was like 17, 18, 19 years old. I really wanted to become a professional basketball player. So I put so much work into it. I'm not that tall, like 1.81 m. That's like 6 foot. That's not much for basketball.
Right.
So I always had to somehow make up for that and learn how to jump higher, how to become more athletic, to still be competitive. And then at a very young age, like I even started earlier when I was 15, to make my own training plans, to look for solutions, to look inside of books. I think YouTube was very small.
So you were trying to gain those couple of extra inches, and what you needed to do that, basically.
Yeah, I tried to put everything together and create my own training programs. And it worked. I think I became quite a good athlete overall, but I could not make it to an absolute professional level. But then somehow at a very young age, I got this coach's mindset that I wanted to create things, I wanted to put things together, and I wanted to show younger people then what mistakes I probably made, because it was so much try and error. It was failure all the time.
And did you have a coach at that time that was guiding you on what to do, or did you do this kind of by yourself?
To be honest, the whole athleticism part, the whole strength and conditioning part, I did on my own. Like, I had good basketball coaches, and I learned a lot about basketball, but there was no knowledge about how I get stronger, how I jump higher, how I run faster, how I prevent injury, very important thing, that I do not get injured along the way, good nutrition, all of these things. That was not there. So I did not really have that coach in those subjects. But I got a couple of coaches where I learned a lot about basketball, but I would have loved to have someone like me right now, who is capable of having all of those things around the normal training.
Yeah, because I guess it's not just the sport, it's actually all the other factors that happen around it that kind of contribute to that kind of peak performance, isn't it?
Yeah. So I started very at the age of like 20 or 21. First of all, even when I was 18, I coached a small kids group in track and field, which was more like a fun thing for me to do, just, kids.
Right, okay. Yeah.
I got a little bit of side money for that. It wasn't like really ambitious. But when I quit my own career, mostly, when I just played basketball.
So were you quite disheartened when you thought, okay, I'm not going to make it as an athlete, I'm not going to make it as a basketball player, and then I have to find something else to do?
Yeah, of course. Because I was studying at that time business administration, because I was also into it was a little bit of my father's thing to learn about those things, and he was always he was big in doing some things with stocks, and he was like very overall interested in economy, and I thought about studying it, but I quit after 2 years because it was too much mathematics for me, and too
your heart wasn't in it.
Yeah, and it was too practical. No, not practical enough. There was like so much theory, mathematics, and all those things, and that was not my thing. I was good at it, but it wasn't like filling me up with joy. So I continued with the sports part all the time, and with training people, and started my first business at that age, and created online programs. And I went through all of that year by year.
A lot to go through then.
Yeah.
Where did you get this energy from, or motivation to like do everything? What happened at that point that you thought, I'm going to do the training courses? Because doing training courses at that time is quite remarkable, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
No one really did them.
Yeah, I'm born 1990, so it was 2011, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
I was 21. It wasn't like it is right now. Like when you come up with something like a video course 9 years ago, it was much different. YouTube, as I said already, YouTube was like very small. YouTube existed. I think it was created somewhere like 2005 or 6, but it was super was there. Of course, broadband quality of videos was all worse, like compared to right now. I mean, imagine it was
about broadband quality
after the first iPhone only got.
We don't have to. I was going to say, just talking about just about quality, and you're just cutting up a little bit. So you went quite robotic then. Doing training courses at such a young age, that's quite remarkable. Like, how did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, the idea basically came when I got to the jump manual, which was a pioneer work by Jacob Hiller, someone who was also a coach and an athlete, and he was like the first to have the idea to put a video course online, just putting workouts together. It wasn't like something super scientific, super good. Even the quality wasn't that good. You must imagine it's like 10 years ago. The first iPhone was just released in 2008. So that was a quantum leap what happened up until now. But at that time, Jacob, I think he was my inspiration, and it was like super interesting for me to like I had this idea like video on demand. You can just click on the internet and watch videos, and you have someone explaining to you the exercise. It was like something super new at that time.
Yeah,
I wanted to do that too.
Yeah, no. And what was he, a coach as well, or was he an athlete?
I'm not 100% sure, but I think he basically went on the same journey as I did. He was an athlete in college, I think, in the USA, but did not quite make it to a professional career, or just to a certain level. And then he traveled and started he traveled a lot. He coached athletes in so many different countries. I actually had him on my podcast.
Oh, really? Excellent.
We made an episode. Yeah, that's super cool. And but then he became a coach. So athlete first, coach second. That's also his journey, like basically what I did.
Okay. So you developed your training course, and then I know that you have helped many athletes. So how did you get into kind of what arena did you go into first? Because it's quite how to get started in that kind of field when you really don't know. So what took you to the journey that you did for like being more of an athletic coach?
First of all, I focused a lot on basketball and jumping higher. I basically wanted to help my younger self. Like I imagined someone at the age also of 15, as I said before, with the struggle. I wanted to become a basketball player, but everyone considers me being too small. I want to jump higher, and I need a solution. And I wanted to help these kind of kids. But then I shifted a little bit towards track and field. I was sprinting and long jumping when I was younger, before I played basketball, and I was like 10 or 12 years old, and it was fun for me. And as I said, when I was 18, I coached a little kids group. Yeah. And because I had the idea that with my knowledge about, with my developing knowledge, of course, because it got better every year up until now, it still does. Knowledge about the human body and athletic performance could help track and field athletes way more than probably basketball players, because basketball is a lot of skill, sport-specific skill. I mean, you don't have to be the most athletic guy. You don't have to be the fastest, as long as you hit the shots and have a good technique. You can dribble, you have court vision, all of those basketball specific things. But in track and field, sprinting 100 meters, long jump, high jump, all of those things, the athletic component is super big. And because that's how I somehow got into that, because I wanted to show people that what I do works. And I think I could do that best in track and field. And that's when I started to crack athletes, 23 age, 24. And yeah, up until now, I got a couple of kids to national championships, to national team. And yeah, we are still growing with my training concept.
That's fantastic. That's amazing. So what do you think were your kind of main kind of ingredients that you did differently that everybody else was doing? So, you know, you said that there's much more to just coaching, and you looked at kind of diet and, you know, mindset. So what other things do you incorporate, do you think are the kind of the main factors that the people don't really consider?
Yeah, it's good that you said those things. They came in a little bit later. First of all, I was that type of guy. I was always, when people were saying, oh, this is the number one thing, I started to question things where people said that is a number one rule that is super important. On the other hand, where people said, okay, this is probably not so good, I got back to that and thought about, okay, but still some people do it, so there must be good in it. So I questioned a lot of the good things and tried to understand a lot of the bad things. And that somehow got into my mentality. And then I figured out you can have the best training program in the world. Honestly, the best one. If everything around the practice you do, like your nutrition, your mindset, your motivation, everything around it, if that is not good, you will not get to your goals, even with the best training program.
Yeah.
And so I started to incorporate things that are outside of this box of coaching. And yeah, that's how I got also into things like mindset training and nutrition. And yeah.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned nutrition. So you've also transferred to a plant-based diet. How has that helped with your performance?
With my own performance, of course, I still do a lot of training and move a lot around and still work out a lot. I did that at the age of 26. Mainly because my father died of a heart attack in 2013.
Right.
Quite young, and quite like he wasn't sick before. Like he went to work, got a heart attack, dead. So I was thinking about why does that happen, and then also on my own I went to the doctor and they found some type of gut bacteria in my gut that could lead to cancer in 20 years or whatever.
Oh God! How did you find that out then? So were you just investigating yourself and got some tests done, or did you really want to know?
I just wanted to test it. Yeah, I just tested it, and then I tried out a lot of things. I tried a lot of diets, and for me, I'm not the type of person that pushes the plant-based diet on other people. I think that there are pros and cons to a lot of diet types. I'm not that type of guy. I think, of course, you can, when you debate point of view, it's different. It's absolutely different. But on the nutritional point of view, on the point of view of health, I think you can also do good on other diets. But for me, it worked. I felt a lot better in a lot of when I made that switch in 2016, already 5 years ago now. And one thing I saw it, I never was that type of guy who did a lot of cardio running training. I was more the weightlifting guy. I never did whatever 10-kilometer runs or cycling, or I just did not enjoy it too much. I sometimes did it, but every year I go to the UK since, I don't know, 2014, 13, in fall, in autumn, in the end of October, there is a event it's in Worksop. It's Nottinghamshire, hopefully that's right, and like not far from Sheffield.
Right. Okay.
And they do a Halloween half marathon there, and it's one of the biggest races in the country. And we have a partnership with that club, so we go there every year, and they have a fun for half marathon is not for me. It's like 22 kilometers. It's like, I don't know, 10, 13, 14 miles or something. But there is something named the Fun Run. and it is 3 kilometers
Right.
long. So I always compete in that just for fun. Like some people dress up, they run in Halloween costumes. Of course, this year it didn't happen, but the years before I always went there. And in 2015, the year before I went on the plant-based diet, I ran like 12 minutes and 35 seconds or something.
Right.
And then after a year, like shortly after that, I did the plant-based thing in November. And after a year of eating like that and not training a lot differently in terms of my endurance training, I ran 11 minutes 11. So more than a minute faster without anything different in training. And I feel like when you're an endurance athlete, when you do triathlons or marathons or just cycling, swimming, I think that is really a game changer for you, for your diet, if you do that. Because I did, it could be only that thing. I did not change anything in my training. I don't even train cardio. I don't run a lot. I sometimes go for jogging, but it's not like my main point of training. And that's a massive increase in time when you go from 12:35 to 11:11, I think.
Yeah.
And even
amazing.
the year after, without a lot more training again, I even ran like 10:40 or something. So even faster.
They're getting better.
Yeah, without training.
Yeah.
So that must be the nutrition.
And I've heard a lot of, and I've seen, you know, a couple of documentaries. There was one on Netflix as well. I think I can't remember the name. Was it The Game Changer? No,
Game Changer. The Game Changers. Yeah,
right?
great
The
documentary.
Game Changer.
Yeah,
and I watched that, and I was like, so you know, you've got the strongest men and the fastest men, and you know, all sorts of athletes on there who've actually proven to say and testimony that this is a plant-based diet that we've changed to, and we are stronger, fitter, faster, happier than ever. So you know, there's a big conversion towards a plant-based diet, and many more people are feeling the benefits. So would you say that it's definitely something to look at? And you know, if people can change, because ultimately I do want people to kind of be much more happier and healthier. And during this lockdown, you know, you feel sluggish. You know, even me, Rene, last 2 weeks I've been overdosing on my tea and biscuits, and I'm kind of slouching, and it was raining really badly, and I didn't want to go out for a walk. And I've been really good since obviously I've talked to you. I'm walking every day, but you know, there's a time where we all feel, you know, a bit lethargic, and we don't feel as energetic. And I feel that my food, you know, my diet really plays into that. You know, when I'm having a Netflix weekend, or I'm just relaxing and I'm not paying attention to my diet, and I really feel that it does really impact. So is there any foods that you would say that we should really eat to optimize our health? Is there something that you can give us that we should be looking to eat during this time, you know, especially with winters and low energy? But what would you say that we should put into our diet?
First of all, I must say, as I said before, I'm not like 100% sure. I'm not a scientist, nutritionist, about if the plant-based diet is the perfect thing for everyone. For me, it works super fine. Like all my nutrition level, all my vitamin levels, everything's perfect. And for a lot of other people, I know it is the same way. But I also know people who do low carb or paleo diets. They also kind of feel good and have good other like in terms of health, good numbers in terms of health. And then I thought about, like, what are we doing? What are all of us doing? And first of all, what all of those diet people do, they focus on what they eat. That's the first thing. They just don't eat whatever's inside. They think about, what should I eat? And then there are more similarities than differences sometimes.
Right.
Like, for example, highly processed foods. Like in most diets, people don't eat that. No matter if it's low carb, if it's paleo, if it's veganism, vegetarians, they just don't eat too much processed food, because that doesn't fit into none of those categories. So that's probably something to avoid most of the time. But I'm also not a fan of pushing people too hard. I mean, you have to better take small steps, because food and eating is psychological a lot. I know that from a lot of people. And
of course.
you just can't
I can't give up my chocolate. I love dark chocolate, and I actually don't like milk chocolate. I really love dark chocolate, which is quite beneficial because I need a little bit of dose of that now and again. And you know, obviously with the winter, I've started eating much more nuts, and you know, having walnuts and Brazil nuts. So that's been quite good. That just kind of alternative suggestions of not having something like crisps or something Doritos, and going towards something healthier snacks, you know, raisins and things like that.
Yeah,
so
but
that switch.
In total, dark chocolate is not that bad. It has a lot of like cacao powder, has a lot of good minerals and vitamins and everything. I mean,
that's what I tell myself, and that's
good, and it's
everybody.
Good. I think first of all, people should cut out processed food as much as they can, at least, and eat fresh stuff. You know, eat fruits, eat vegetables, eat your grains, eat lentils and beans and all of those things, and you know, eat unprocessed food, cook food on your own, or like just eat natural things. That's the first thing. And if you eat meat and if you eat a little bit of milk, it's your thing. From a nutritional point of view, that's better than eating vegan cookie bars or beer or chips or whatever. It's vegan, it's plant-based, but it's still not good. And then you would rather, from a nutritional point of view, you would rather eat steak or fresh milk from your local farmer. That's definitely better from a nutritional point of view. But first of all, I think people should decide. I think there are people who run better on carbohydrates. I'm definitely that type of guy. And some people run better on a little bit more fat and protein. But normally I feel like most people run a lot better on carbohydrates. So they should cut out fat and protein more, especially when they have a little bit of a more southern heritage, like we do a little bit. Like the Nordic people probably better on fat and protein, but you know, people from Asia, from Arabic, from Mediterranean, from South America, most of them are better on carbohydrates, and that's most of people in the world. And
that's an interesting point, Rene. So
you should try to.
Sorry. I'll let you finish.
You should try to eat more carbohydrates, and healthy carbohydrates, of course, not the cookies all the time and the whatever.
Absolutely.
Grains.
So you know, go better for non-processed than actually having, you know, saying vegan and then using the vegan tag and then just eating whatever you want, you know.
And try out things. Just put yourself on it. Just as I did, like try out 2 months of low carb and try out 2 months of veganism. Try this, try that. Don't try it just for a couple of days. See what your body likes, or not get the effect, but you will find what's good for you. Just try things out, but try them out for a longer period, not like only a couple of days. It should be weeks, better 2 or 3 months to do something, and then you will find out, oh, I'm feeling good about that. Oh, I missed that. Oh, I feel bad, or whatever, and you will get there.
How long do you think we need then? Maybe 6 weeks, a month? To try something out to see if it works or it helps us, or what would you think?
I think for most things 6 weeks is the minimum. Is even better when you want to try out something.
What a great point. I was actually, you know, as you were saying that, different cultures have different viewpoints of health and exercise. You know, when I was living in Dubai, you know, I got introduced to yoga, and I was always the one that loved the treadmill. I love fast impact, you know, just on the go adrenaline, you know, just real kind of pumping exercises. And I was like, I don't want to do yoga. Like, I'm not going to lose any weight with yoga. And even though I know that it's beneficial, I was doing my first yoga class, Rene, and I came out of it sweating and tired, my legs hurting. And it was so amazing. And I just love yoga. And I was just thinking how, you know, us South Asian people, they love, you know, yoga, they love exercise, but they love their food as well, you know, big foodies. You know, different cultures have different regimes of exercise, how they view exercise, you know, and especially diet as well, you know. So yoga is really famous and very popular in India. You know, religiously, it's part of their kind of religion, isn't it? And there's so many great techniques that I picked up, like with breath work and, you know, just, you know, looking at certain parts of your body that, you know, need different attention, and just the way that you view the anatomy. That was fascinating for me. You know, South Asian, Arab cultures, we eat a lot of meat. We're big meat eaters, you know, and how can one go from a big meat eater to go into, you know, something that a little bit more healthier? Regarding exercise, let's talk about exercise. How would you incorporate somebody, you know, is feeling like, you know, we need to introduce some kind of exercise? Because moving the body is the most important thing, isn't it? So the way that you move your body, and you should really, the way that you flow, the way that you, how can we introduce movement in body?
First of all, before I answer that question, I must say that what you just said is a super interesting subject, and I would love to cover that more in the future. To have the movement and or just sport, or however you name this whole thing, exercise, and in different cultures, how that works. I think that's a super interesting thing. I would love to travel the world more, and like in 2020, it's, you don't know what's going to happen after that year, but it's not that easy as it was. But it's super interesting, and I know that Dubai has quite a lot of Indian influence, like a lot of Indian people live there, and that also brings the yoga there. And how does it get there? And then travel to Southeast Asia, how people move there, and it's super interesting. But to answer your question, like where to start moving, it depends on where you are right now. And first of all, for me, there are three types of people who are probably not that satisfied with their stage of movement at the moment. There's, first of all, there's the person who who just got disconnected from the body. Someone who, couch potatoes, you name it them sometimes. Someone who is sitting around it, just not doing. He knows, or the person knows it would be better, but they just don't do it because they have other things and they live over here. And the rest is the body. And second, there are the people who do the work. More they do their workouts, they go to the gym, they do their cardio, whatever. But it's more like a to-do list thing. They do not enjoy it. They just do it. Okay, I have to do my sport to stay healthy, to stay fit, to be in shape, to look good, whatever. But it's a to-do list thing. I have to do it, like cleaning my room.
Punishment.
Probably even punishment. But like, I think it's a good similarity to cleaning your room. Like not many people, some people enjoy even that, but a lot of people don't enjoy that. It's part of the do list. It has to be done. And so they see movement of their body. It has to be done to be healthy. And the third part are people who cannot move because of pain in their body, whatever it is. It might be something in their skeleton, in their muscles, like you have knee pain, back pain, foot pain, but it might also be from other health conditions, like could be anything, you know, head body, if you had surgery, whatever, could be anything. So these three types of people. And if you are in one of those things, like my first approach would be to shift the perspective of the person, to not see, okay, you have a body, it's there for a reason. You're not only your head and your brain and your you might be super you might reach your all of goals. You are super successful in your life. Everything's good, but still you only are here, and what's down there, it doesn't exist for you, and you're probably overweight, probably already injured, whatever. You have a body, and there's a reason for that. Like we are somehow disconnected. Mind-body connection is not there. We are disconnected from the nature, and you should just think about why is it, and look at kids, how they move. Do they go somewhere and do a certain movement, 3 sets, 8 reps? No, they don't do that. They just play. They move around. They enjoy. They try, like, what can I have this arm? What can I do with it? And that should be the first thing. Yeah,
That's
but
so
people don't
true.
do that.
That's
People don't do that. Like sometimes I ask people, what was the last time you jumped on something? Like it don't have to be a 1 meter box, like on a stair. Most people can do that. Like
yeah.
you could jump, you can go on a stair, you could jump with both. You would be able to do that.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have an ankle injury or whatever.
Yeah.
But when was the last time you did that? Probably it's decades ago. And
Yeah.
you know, experiencing what your body can do, like this is fun. And yeah, then start with easy movements. Yeah, I always say, like, number one movement, the easiest movement is breathing. Learn your breathing, and you said you're a big fan of that.
I love it. Actually,
learn
that's what I kind of I relearned that. It was a big lesson for me for this year. And, you know, I learned this lesson many years ago, but, you know, you kind of forget how to breathe. And I remember a friend of mine, she was my neighbor, and she said to me, you know, can you breathe? And I was like, what do you mean? Of course I breathe. I breathe. She goes, no, you don't breathe from here. You breathe from here. You gotta breathe all the way. And that was my first introduction to breath work. But yeah, and I think I rediscovered it, and you also reminded me again about my breath and how that connects me with my body. And then it's the first thing, because I was really stressed and I was really anxious, and that's the first thing, to actually connect yourself in that present moment, isn't it? That's the most important thing, that you're going to kind of once you kind of take control of your breath, you kind of relax, that you just relax. I think that was the first one for me. Yeah, that was the most important.
And you can differentiate. You can breathe into the chest, in the belly, like it's different. And you have to learn that. And then we go ahead. We start with easy movements, like tilting the pelvis back and forward, feeling your spine, like moving your spine in circles, in waves, something like that. You know, there is so much you can do. And when someone asks me like this, like, what should I do? Like, I would start with these things. And explore, and then find something that you enjoy. You know, probably you even played a sport when you were a kid, and probably you should do that again at the age of 40,
actually
50.
I must tell you that I did. Actually, I love hula hoops, so I'm a great hula hooper. Okay.
Yeah.
So I bought myself 2-3, I should have bought them, I should have shown you, but I've got such great hula hoops, and I actually started hula hooping again, and I love it. And I started dancing again. I started getting my kind of, you know, energy levels back. And that's what I did. I went back to hula hoops. Yeah. And I love it. And I'm out there for, you know, I was out in the garden for a couple of hours, you know, with the music on, and just kind of putting some kind of dance form into it, but really enjoying that. And I think that's what it is. I think people don't kind of forget that they should really enjoy that process of movement and exercise. And once you make it more enjoyable, you'll want to do it.
Yeah. And every person, I think, every person listening right now should have also some type of movement goal that they want to achieve.
A yearly goal. How would you describe like a movement goal? What do you mean?
It could be anything. It could be for someone who's probably older and sitting around all the time, probably to be able to run a kilometer, if that's satisfying for you. It doesn't have to be that. It could be something like, I want to touch my toes from standing. I want to learn a handstand. I want to do 10 pull-ups. I want to do this or that, or I want to go back on the football court and play with what I did 10 years ago, probably. Yeah. It could be anything. I want to play backflip on a trampoline. It could be like, think about what would be fun for you, what you would enjoy in terms of movement, and what you want to do, and then set it as a goal and work for that. And that's fun, and that's the playful approach. That's how kids would do it, as I said in the beginning.
Playful approach. I think that's what it is. Take kind of that child's play. I like perspective on it, you know. But with those people who can't, like, okay, you know what, we've got dark nights, small days, you know, literally 6 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock it really starts to get dark, and it's a short day. And you know, many people that even wanted to go out for a walk after work or whatever, they're kind of stuck at home now. And what's the best thing that we can do for movement when we're at home? How can we promote movement? Like, what would you do to kind of get us activated for being at home and moving? Because going outside, going to the gym, what we're all used to, is quite...
You can't go to most gyms right now at the moment.
No, all the gyms are closed, Rene. You know, even like going out, like I'm just gonna have to get some whole new, you know, winter wardrobe, because obviously coming from Dubai, we've got like, you know, all will not the right attire. So going out the other day, I was like, oh my God, it's so cold. So like even going out is okay. I go out for a walk every day, but what can we do to stay when we're at home? How can we promote? Like you said something about stairs, like jumping on the stairs or something. Give us some tips on how we can promote health at home. How can we do or create that movement at home? And what can we do to, limited space, limited resources? What can we do to really kind of optimize our health at home?
Okay, I will give you 5 points everyone could do today.
Okay, brilliant. Okay.
First of all, I would cover some type of breathing. I would focus, as you already said. I would sit down, and if you don't have any idea, you can go to YouTube, or you can even go to my website. I have things, or wherever you want, and find some type of breathing work. And if you don't find anything, just try. My first approach is always differentiate. As I said, try to breathe into your chest 5 times. You can lay down, you can sit, you can walk. But of course, easiest is when you sit down or when you lay down on the ground. Breathe 5 times deeply in your chest and then 5 times in your belly. And then repeat. Like this is breathing, number 1.
How can you breathe from your belly, and how can you breathe? Somebody who doesn't know how to breathe, that's because that's the most important. Okay. Can you give us a little kind of how would you breathe from your belly and how you breathe from your diaphragm?
You lay down. Oh, diaphragm is even better word than belly. You lay down, I would just put one hand on my chest.
Right.
And one hand on my belly button. And just try to breathe in a way that these parts raise from the ground. When you lay flat on the ground, you see, I breathe in here. This comes in front. And I go back. I expand my chest. And then I try to work with the diaphragm. Down there. And expand that. Expand my core muscles and just work on it. It's not easy. If you're not used to it, that's the first thing, breathing. Second thing, somehow get a feeling for your body center, for your pelvis.
Right.
Just move your pelvis tilting upward, up and down.
Yeah.
Or move in circles. That's a bit more complicated if you're a beginner. Try it sitting around. Try it laying around. Try it while walking. Try it while kneeling. Yeah, you can do so many things. So breathing, pelvis. Next thing I would do is also work on your spine.
Right.
How much can you like extend in your spine when you go like here? Like try to roll it. You can roll your spine. You can flex it in the other direction. You can form a wave. You can rotate. You can you have those vertebrae, all of those vertebrae, 24 in your body. You can move so much with them. So definitely do something with that. Then very great thing, connection, your foundation to the ground, the foot.
Right. Okay.
Try to work with your feet, run around barefoot. Try to move your toes like you move your hands. Try to grab things with your foot. You can take off your socks. Try to standing on one leg is such an amazing thing. Like look at what you can do with your body anyway. Move objects around it. And that's fourth. And the last thing, find something in your area or somewhere. Like I'm not telling you what. Jumping could be one thing. You can hang from something, hang around, do some other exercises, do a yoga, whatever video you want. Just do something on your own. Don't wait for me telling you what to do. Like find a way, and those would be like 5 things.
You mean like stretching? You mean like a
could be
stretch?
whatever you want.
Okay,
whatever
you mean
want.
like
It could be stretching.
freestyle. Do whatever you want.
Something.
Yeah.
What you feel like doing. You can do it assisted by someone. You can watch videos on the internet, but you can do something on your own. You will find, as I said, jump your stairs up and down. If that's good for you, if you feel like that's fun. And I would just say, time those things. Do 10 minutes of breathing, do 10 minutes of your pelvis, whatever. Could be like 5 if 10 is too much for you. Then do 10 minutes of the spinal work, a little bit. Turning, of course, with some breaks in between. Then try to feel your foundation, your feet for 10 minutes, and then probably 20 minutes of whatever you want. You got an hour full of super diverse movement, and you will feel amazing after that. And this is everyone can do that at any stage of life, because it's super, super easy. It's the most simple things I just said.
Yeah. And do you know, I always think also that we overcomplicate so much, like
Yeah.
even small little things kind of make a difference. Now, tell me if this is a good thing that I do or not. So when I'm making my tea in the morning, I do a
Mhm.
few squats as I'm waiting for the kettle to boil. Is that
Of
good?
course, that is super good. I
Because I
always
wanted
tell
to know,
people,
do I need to warm up my body first? Because
no.
sometimes I'm just waiting for the kettle to boil, or if I'm just talking to my mom, or I'm just, I'm cooking and I've just, I have the music on when I cook. And so if I'm cooking or if I'm putting the kettle on in the morning, I'll do a few squats. Just sitting, I'll just
Of
get into the
course.
mood and I'll just like, okay, let's just do a few things here. And just, it's just fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is the thing. It's super good that you do that. I always tell people to do that, to link certain things to a movement,
Yeah.
probably. You can even, some people, you should definitely, when you go down the squat, learn to sit down there.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, you can elevate your heels. It's easier. Uh, be in that position always when you brush your teeth, for example, or
Right.
when you check your emails, or link a movement to another thing you do,
Right. So
to a routine.
association to try and kind of link something
That's
with that.
amazing. And you will have fun with it, and you will move more, definitely, because
Yeah, yeah.
it will become a habit, and it's good.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
So
super
that's my
good
little
thing that you
thing.
do
So,
that.
if anybody, my mom put the kettle on, I was like, okay, so let me just do a couple of squats. But yeah, I guess things have become easier. I've started to, like stretch my body again. And I think the cold doesn't help. And I'm not such a cold person ever since I've got back. But it really is that
No,
small,
me either.
daily small things really have helped, Rene.
Yeah,
Just small little things daily. And I think this is the kind of thing that I would say to everybody as well. Whatever you do, try and do something every day and don't go with
yeah,
that one day. Because I know that one day editing like for the podcast or got stuck in something else. And, we recently had a death in the family, and I went out for a walk for a good hour because I needed to just relax and calm my mind and to breathe and take in that just scenery and change of environment, and it was so helpful for me. So I think people, even in high like emotional states, don't forget to do what you do, right? Because it really does help. I think that for me, walking is the best. I'm like the Forrest Gump
yeah,
of walking, and I love it. I'm not so much of a runner.
yeah. I love it too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I'm
That's the
so much
thing.
of a runner though,
That's the thing.
but I love what I do. Like I can go out for a walk forever, and
Mhm.
so I've always got my trainers on and do something. So you're also designing something for us, aren't you? So if anybody
Mhm.
wants to do something in advanced level, say, which I'm so happy that you have introduced. So
Mhm.
I just love the fact that movement should be so integral part of your daily life. Like it's what keeps us going. It's what we kind of should do subconsciously with fun and enjoyment. I think for me, like everything should be done with just your heart, your full heart and enjoyment in it. And I think movement is such a great way of doing it. So tell us about what you're coming up with next, because I think it's going to be amazing for those people who are beginners to advanced level. I just think it was just amazing when you told me. So
Mhm.
how is your training course going to work then? And can anybody do it?
The thing is that I'm right now in the process of creating a course that is for everyone,
Yeah.
and it basically, what we just talked about is the start of what I'm creating. So everything that
Right.
I covered a little bit here was also part, or most of what I said is also a part of my new training program.
Right.
Its name is Movement Basics, because I wanted, I'm my profession is coaching athletes. I was always only working with youth athletes on high performance levels, and
Yeah.
I always wanted to create something for the regular person, for someone
Yeah.
who's at home who wants to learn the absolute basics.
Yeah.
And they are not as different as the ones that athletes have.
Right.
We all have the same set of muscles and bones, all of
Of
us. Yeah.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone who goes to the Olympics has more or less the same bones and muscles that you have, and everyone
Yeah.
here. Um, and I want to create something baseline, and it starts with breathing and with those things what I just talked about, and
Yeah.
it increases very slowly to a fun, playful approach, level of free movement, of having fun, of just exploring what your body can, and you can incorporate everything you want in the end in this course. If you are the guy who goes to the weight room, you can do that. If you enjoy walking as you do, you can do that. If you go on marathons, you can do that. If you play basketball, there's nothing where you cannot put your sport or whatever you enjoy on top of it. Right. But it starts baseline where everyone should start, when you're disconnected, when you are to-do list person, when you have pain, when you want to decrease pain. You can start with my program, and yeah, it comes out December 1st, next week.
Oh, that's fantastic. No, I think it's because I found value from what you had told me. And so, you know,
we had a chat about all of those things.
We had continuously chats. And at first, so Rene, what would we do when you find ourselves like on those days that we don't want to do anything, we don't want to get out of bed, we just don't feel good at all? You know, in those moments where you kind of doubt yourself and you're just feeling overwhelmed, what do you do that helps you, that can help us?
I think on those days, I would set myself the goal to do at least something, to move around a little bit, to just start something. You know, if you have your plan, what I already said, those 6 or 5 things you want to do, just start with one thing. And if you feel like it's okay, continue. You know, but start somewhere, and if you do at least 1 or 2 or 3 of those things, you will have something done, and you'll feel good. And normally, if you just start doing, the hardest thing is to start. Normally,
what do you tell yourself? What do you tell yourself when you can't start in the morning? Like, what do you tell yourself to get yourself out of bed, or to do that walk? Or that's the thing that I want to ask. Like, starting is the hardest. The first step is the hardest, right? My gym is across the road. Going across the road and driving down to the gym is the hardest part. Getting there, and then when you're in momentum, it's fine. But what do you tell yourself when you know, when that moment where you just don't want to? Like, what do you tell yourself? What do you do?
When I really don't want to, I just figure out what would make fun for me in terms of sport, movement, workout, whatever. And I would do that instead. Yeah. One day I just went outside and grabbed my basketball and throw a couple of shots at the rim there. So then try to do a playful approach, as I said. Try to do something that's fun for you. Yeah. Instead of your workout, whatever. But do something, you know, use your body, move. That's important always.
Yeah, absolutely. So
go to YouTube, type in some yoga or whatever you feel like, you know, learn how to backflip, you know, and just follow the first steps, whatever. Yeah, just you will have some idea what to do, and any day.
Kind of set some goals for ourselves. So is there an inspiration? Are you influenced or inspired by anyone? And what inspires you?
I think everyone's influenced by someone. I think there's always some influence, and I think I'm influenced by a lot of people. I already said, like, my workout plans, my first ones were influenced by Jacob Hiller. Then I got influenced by a lot of great basketball players, way too many to name everyone. Then I got influenced later on by Ido Portal training methods, very famous, or not. He's not that famous. He's a movement guy who does a lot of things. It's really hard to put him into certain subject. Then I'm influenced by some great coaches nowadays, by Joel Smith, who's a strength and conditioning coach from the USA. Just Fly Sports Performance is his work. A lot of different people. Mike Boyle a little bit, who's a very famous strength guy in the USA. And also coaches I had in my courses that I follow, like here in Germany, some more infamous ones, but still, those coaches that I met there, they influenced me. So a lot of different people.
Right. And what is the best advice that you've been given that has really helped you in your career?
When I think of that question, I don't really have one answer, because I think I had quite some good advice. So I should name probably one thing.
Try and name something, some piece of advice that you really kind of have learned a lot from, and that you kind of practice.
I think my biggest advice, or it wasn't really an advice, because it was not something a person told me. It was more like my own, not really research, but like I figured it out on my own. It was I could give it as an advice to other people, definitely.
Yeah.
And it is to when you finish school. I started my story with okay, I'm interested in finance things and stocks and those things because my father did, and because I'm good at it somehow for some reason. I was good in maths and all those things, but you should dig deeper and go deeper into things. What do you really like? Why are you here? Why are you on this planet? I think that should be the number one reason everyone should ask herself when you're young, because I think normally school should help you with that, but it does a horrible job doing that. So you should think about it. You should find the reason why you're here, and if you found that thing, go for it. Just go into it. Like for me, it was this sports movement coaching thing. I found it. I'm happy I did, and yeah, go into that, and don't follow only other things like what someone told you, what you think you're good at, because what you're good at and what you really love or why you feel you're here doesn't have to be the same thing.
Yeah.
It can be, and if it is, it's great. It's a great start if it's the same thing, but it doesn't have to be the same thing. I think that's the biggest piece of advice that I taught myself, because I learned that pretty early, and I'm very, very glad I did that.
Yeah, no, that's great advice for everyone listening. And so where do you see yourself in the next 5-10 years? What is it that you aim to do?
That's a great question. I think 2020 taught us the lesson that you can have the greatest plan. It can be like within a minute, it can be like out of the window. But still, I think we should follow long-term plans, but we have to be flexible with them, and they can change. But if I have a dream right now, it would be, and it's quite clear what I want to do, because I'm right now I'm more of the online business guy. I coach athletes in person here where I live also, and that's great, and I enjoy coaching people way more than doing it online, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm a very connective person. I love to talk to people. I love to see the results. I also enjoy the online stuff, and I would definitely continue doing that, but I want to go back into coaching more, and I want to have my own training facility where people can come. It doesn't have to be only athletes. It can be also ordinary or regular people coming there, but I want to have my own I want to have my own training facility somewhere where I can just teach my methods and my training to everyone. There can be athletes, Olympic athletes, who want to go to world championships in their sports, but it can be other people, and yeah, just coaching them and have a system that follows all of my things. And I want to have that somewhere. I probably, if to make it more clear, I want to have that somewhere where the climate is that you can train outside the whole year. So it would not be Central Europe or somewhere here, but yeah, that's the plan. But it can change. You know, things change fast nowadays. But this is the plan for now. And right now, I'm trying to develop my coaching skills to the next level, coaching athletes to become even better. I want to definitely coach an athlete up until they reach the Olympics.
Yeah.
Or multiple athletes would be even better. And then on top of that, build your own facility somewhere.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That is a ambitious, but I can see you doing that pretty well. Yeah, that's definitely your thing. What's one thing, I'm going to leave this on the last question. What is it one thing that you've been thankful for in this 1 year, this 2020? What are you thankful for?
I think first of all, I could say I'm thankful for founding that thing that I already said, but it would be like the same answer. So it's kind of boring if I say that again. I think it brought me back to the joy that I had, especially in coaching athletes, that I had when I started. Because right before the whole COVID thing and in the beginning of the year, in January, February, when everything seemed to that it's not a really big deal, everyone thought, outside of China. I felt a little bit slightly lost in those things. It's always a little bit like that in February because with the track and field people, we have the season in Germany. It's basically from May to September. And then October, most of October is off to relax. And then November, we start to build up again. And, you know, this process takes months. And then by February, you sometimes a little bit like, okay, we want to go back competitive season. And some people lose interest and it's not so easy to get everyone on track and follow the weight training and everything. But then we were completely out in March, and I had to find a way for the pro athletes to train somehow, to get some idea, to do online training, to just helping them as much as I can. And when we were allowed to go outside again and meet in small groups and train in May here in Germany, in beginning of May, it felt so great. I could have spent like 10 hours on a track, being outside, teaching even kids and everyone. It doesn't even matter if I have an Olympic athlete in front of me or some 11-year-old girl that wants to improve her high jump. It doesn't matter. I enjoyed it so much, and I spent so many hours on the track and on outside and in the weight room and everywhere. I enjoyed it, just this small thing. And I think that was very powerful for me, and it carried through all of the year. It still carries me. It's great.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for all your knowledge and all your help. And I will look forward to your course soon and put
Movement
all the
basics
for everybody.
December 1st.
What was it?
Basics is the
Movement
name.
Basics out on the 1st of December. And I'll put all the details out on the
sportsnation.com is my website. There you'll find it.
Sportsnation. Sportsnation.com.
With a Z. Between sport and nation. You will link it. It's easier
I'll link all the details for you. Thank you so much. I know we've had a couple of technical hitches throughout today, but such is life.
I switched my background a couple of times.
It's okay. You're showing us around it's movement, isn't it? It's all about movement. Good. So you're actually showing us that you
we moved a little bit in between those parts of the interview.
Thank you so much, Rene. Look after yourself, and we'll speak soon. Thank you.
Of course.
Take care.
Have a good day. Bye.
And bye-bye.